7 o'clock. Recording's in progress, so let's start the meeting with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, welcome to the planning board meeting. A few administrative details. Your exit's over here in this corner and the one you came in at. I always tell people the best thing to remember is if anything happens, follow Ron. He'll be the first one out.
That's me.
So with that, just a reminder to make sure everyone has signed in so we know who is here, so the clerk can get it in the record. And secondly, please silence all your devices, watches, phones, everything else. So if you would, that would help. Next up, we have the approval of the minutes, February 18th. Anybody have any changes, corrections? I have a motion to approve. Moved by Adrian, seconded by Tim. Anybody else have any questions? All in favor, signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay. Abstain, one abstention. Legal notices were published in the Daily Messenger. We'll follow the order of business of the agenda on the table over there. First item up is public meeting actions. First one is PB 260101 and 0102. Come on up, talk to us about what's going on.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Ed Martin. I'm a licensed engineer with Pastor Associates. Here tonight representing the application before you. Also in attendance is the applicant, Jeff Cook. In the event that you ask questions that I'm not able to answer, I may invite him forward to answer those. Many of you are familiar with this, but for the benefit of the public, I'll just quickly outline the project. It's a 65-acre parcel at the corner of County Route 41 and 332. We're proposing an incentive zoning, which was recently approved, and the development includes a mixture of development, including single-family, townhome, senior apartments, some commercial property as well. We have received comments from the town engineer. They are numerous. I don't see anything in there that we can't resolve with them. I think the biggest issue that I see is probably they're questioning about the commercial property and details for that, which we can't provide until we have a user of that. So the way this is going to work, we propose development in 2 phases, and then any the future phase will include details on all that full site plan application. So we're here tonight to kick off the environmental review. May be premature to ask for preliminary approval subsequent to the environmental, and we're fine with that. That's no problem. But more than anything, we're welcoming any feedback from you and the public.
Perfect. Okay, staff, Ron.
Yeah, before you tonight, the one action is the designation as lead agency. If you recall, earlier before the coordinated review began, you declared your intent to do that tonight. The coordinated review period ended on February 20th.
Okay.
There was no objections to the planning board being lead agency. So when you do designate yourself lead agency, the next step that you have to do is to approve the parts 2 and 3 of the environmental assessment forms.
Correct.
And make a determination of significance on the proposed action. We have comments we've received from the county DPW. We have comments from the state DOT, basically boilerplate. You know, you want to build the intersection, come see us for permits, kind of thing. No outstanding issues were identified. So the Conservation Board did provide you with some comments.
Right.
Okay. So we're ready to go tonight with the next step, which is seeker coordinating
Right.
Action.
For us to have staff draft part 2s and 3 for us.
Right, and then you get them, you review them. I will say that we received favorable recommendation from county planning. So we're looking forward to the next meeting where we'll get into the weeds and start
Get into the weeds.
discussing all these things.
Yep.
There'll be a presentation tomorrow, an update with the town project review committee. And those minutes will be hopefully out to you before your next meeting.
Okay, Paula,
I don't have anything additional.
okay. MRB,
So yes, MRB Group did issue a letter dated February 16th. I've been working closely with Ed and his team. There's some questions they have on our water system mapping, which Ed, I will get back to you on that to help get through that process. Yeah, most of our questions are technical in nature. If the board has any questions or wants clarifications, please let me know. There was one item that I wanted to reference. I didn't see the archaeological sensitive, because you're in the archaeological sensitive area. I didn't see the SHPO sign off. I may have missed it. If you have that no effect finding letter, and you can forward it, I appreciate that. Thank you. That's it.
okay, fire department,
The lines have been reviewing stuff as they get it and giving feedback.
okay. There was feedback from the fire department, wasn't there? This one? Thought there was,
Yes, I believe there was.
yeah.
Yes. But don't ask me what it was because I don't have it in front of me.
I thought there was something,
For the standards of the
Yeah.
fire department.
yeah,
They were concerned about getting around some of the
Yeah,
buildings.
right. Did you get that information, that request?
I've not seen that, but it's a pretty standard request. We can turn that around pretty quickly.
That's what I figured. Okay. All right, this is a public hearing. We have anyone in the audience who would like to speak for or against this project? One more time, anybody in the room want to speak for or against the project? Anyone online like to speak for or against the project? Okay, with that, I'll go to the board. Regina? Adrian?
I don't have anything for tonight.
Doug?
The only thing I started going through the plan is to be ready really for the next meeting. One thing I noticed is I didn't see any loading spaces for like, the 4-story units or any of the commercial stuff out there. So just that's something that, you know, I mentioned now and.
Yeah, having just moved my mother into a situation like that, a loading place is really important, believe me. Yeah, yep. No, and I don't have anything either. The resolution that we have that you should have gotten a copy of basically declares ourselves as lead agency and asks staff to draft parts 2 and 3 of the full EAF for our review. Any comments or questions with the resolution?
Sir?
Anyone on the board have any questions on the resolution? This also keeps the public hearing open to the next meeting on March 18th. Okay, with that, do I have a motion to waive the reading and approve this resolution as presented? Moved by Doug, seconded by Regina. Any other comments? Clerk, take a roll call vote, please.
Lucia? Peace?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, you're good to go to, we'll see you next meeting.
Thank you very much.
You got it. And then next meeting is when we'll really dig into the preliminary and everything, so, okay? All right. Next item up is the sketch plan on the virtual church HO. Come on up, tell us what's going on. And this was a sketch plan review. And get our input before we go to the officials.
Good evening. Brennan Marks, the Marks Engineering,
Mhm.
here with Minister Samuel, the property owner. So this is a single-family residence.
Mhm.
There was 2 residents on this, 2 mobile homes on this lot. One has been removed recently, and the second one will be removed for this project. They're gonna be it's there's the new home will be relocated in the existing location, or just about the same location as the one that's there. It's gonna have a septic system in roughly the same location as the previous one. There is a large pole barn in the back of the property that has a separate entrance off County Road 8. There's actually two entrances off County Road 8. We propose to use both of them. And public water off the street and power off of the pole next to the street, so.
Okay, anything else? I mean, it's pretty simple. Can we get some idea of the use of the property?
Right, so it will be, and he can come speak to it himself also. if you
Yeah,
like.
come on up. Tell us what your plans are. So,
I don't know if you're ready for that.
oh, we're always ready for it. Again, this is a sketch plan review, so we're just
Yeah.
trying to get a feel for what's going on and see if we see anything glaring that we tell you about early on.
Okay.
Okay, tell us what you're doing.
Well, thank you for inviting me tonight.
Yep.
And thank you for showing up. I appreciate you. This is all new to us, but you know,
Okay.
I've never to me, never owned the land, but now I'm learning a lot.
Yeah.
Especially Earth Cadence. You won't hear me if I talk about them, do I?
Yeah.
All right. No, anyways, I wrote it down, so I'll keep it real simple, and this will explain it if you have any questions and all that.
Mhm.
My name is Minister Samuel Rivera, and I'm a founder of the Virtual Church, HO, which stands for Humanitarian Organization,
Mhm.
and a Christian humanitarian organization that was established in 2017. I have been a resident of Farmington for over 3 years now, going on 4 years. But I've been coming through here for over almost 34 years, from Farmington to Rochester and back and forth, doing this type of work. But and I've served in New York State licensed minister, so I've been a licensed minister now for over 6 years to be able to do certain types of work in the community and work with different organizations, chief of police and the mayor and things of that sort, to work with different programs to the public. And working throughout Ontario County for over 5 years now. But the Virtual Church HO does, what do we do? The Virtual Church provides monthly grocery deliveries to many food cupboards from Rochester all the way to Clifton Springs and Geneva, and community partners across the region, including Geneva, New York, Rochester, Clifton Springs, Manchester, Farmington, and Shortsville, just to name a few. Our mission is real simple: to serve our neighbors with dignity, compassion, and consistency. And by God's grace, I plan to continue serving these communities for as long as the Lord allows me to be there for these communities and these folks in the elderly community, handicapped community, those folks who can't afford or do much around their home or for themselves. They have more monthly money, so on and so forth. But when I'm requesting an approval, I'm asking the board to consider allowing to remove the old mobile home, as Brendan mentioned, currently on my property, and build a new home. The mobile home is from 1960 and it requires constant repair. My desire is to spend my time and energy serving the community and not patching up structures that have long outlived its intended lifespan, right? A new home would give me stability and allow me to focus fully on the humanitarian work that we do to benefit the folks in Farmington, New York and surrounding towns. Word about the goodies that I bring. I have to bring this out because Caden brought it up to me. Right? So I have to mention it, all right? Which I brought goodies today, by the way, Oreos for everyone.
Hey.
But anyways, this is from time to time, I bring goods and small items from the auction that we go to. We go to the auction in Stanley, and that's where we get all of our groceries to supply all the food cupboards for.
Mhm.
And I'm a one-man team, by the way. I wanted to share that with the building code enforcement because I heard from Caden, well, I don't want them to misconstrue that you're giving cookies because you want cookie points. I said, no, it's not happening. That's not why. But it's really simple. That's just who I am. You know, I know that I believe that this team and the folks here run this county very well in this town. And it runs very smoothly. And so an appreciation for the work that you folks do, this is what I do. You're not the only ones who I give stuff to.
Mhm.
But that's why. But thank you for your time, your service in this community, and your consideration for my request. My goal is to continue being a positive, dependable part of Farmington, New York, and the Ontario County for many years to come. God bless. Have a great evening.
Cool. Well, let me go through staff, then we'll get the board to see if we have any questions real quick to kind of get what's going on.
So this is one parcel of land over there on County Road 8?
That's correct, yes.
And you want to have two driveways?
There's two existing, yeah.
Okay, the code limits you to one per parcel. So if you want a second driveway as a result of this proposed action, you're gonna need a variance from the zoning board of appeals. Okay, so you're gonna have to justify why a second access to County Road 8 is necessary. I'm just telling you.
Mhm. That's normal.
Okay. As far as this goes, it's a subdivision of land and site plan approval,
No sub,
no subdivision. Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I thought you said there were two mobile homes on
there
the
were
site,
two, yeah.
but they were all on one parcel.
That's correct.
Ooh, okay. Cleaning up a problem, that's what we
We
like.
like cleaning up problems.
That's right. Okay, that's all I have for now.
Okay, Paul?
At this time, I don't have anything to add.
Hey, Lance? Too early?
I think I'm good as well right now.
Fire, you? Nothing I can think of. Anybody in the audience have any comments? Yes, sir. Tell us your name and address and,
Scott Nisel, I live on 66 Courtside Circle in Farmbrook.
okay?
Where is that?
The virtual church?
Yeah,
Is,
and where is this property?
this property's on County Road.
I Road 8.
On your dates.
Right, it's almost at the corner where the circle is there,
Oh, okay.
about three lots from that corner there.
Okay.
On the
East side.
east or west side?
It's 1,500 feet south of Shortsville Road.
Okay,
On the east.
on the east side, okay.
That's correct.
North of Doug Payne's house.
Yeah, okay. Yep, that's where it is.
Curious.
Okay. Anybody else have anything? Okay, board, anything? Yeah, early? Anything?
I had one, at one point, that was two different parcels, but you combined it over time then, or no?
I think it was one parcel.
No, it was one.
It was
I can
always
tell you
one.
what happened, it was, that there was a 1953 mobile home there. At some point, they brought in another mobile home and set it on the lot. And to make the long story short, before Caden, there was another, gentleman there, a very nice guy. And he promised us from the beginning that we can keep those. So that's how it started. We weren't planning on building anything. We just wanted to make what was already there livable. And then we found out that they were so trash, we couldn't. But they said that we can replace it. But then when we went to go replace it, the inspector said, I'm so sorry, I overlooked it, we couldn't do it, you can't do it, so you're stuck with this.
I just
That's
thought
how
that
we
was
ended up
a
here.
separate parcel.
Oh.
The same, all the one that.
You good?
You know, have people come to here.
Great question, because that's, I've gotten that question. So the virtual church was founded by me and my wife. We wanted to do that because we saw the need in the community and we felt that was our calling. And that was something that we did personally of our own accord. And then she passed and I took the baton and kept going. So it's just my own personal thing. No one goes to there's no traffic at all, not even besides myself. Yeah. So no, it's not a business.
Okay.
Where people go to, yeah.
My question is where are you gonna store the grocery goodies?
The grocery goodies are stored in that pole barn that's back
The
there.
barn, okay,
That we got, that's in the second
right. Second driveway
driveway, correct?
that you're gonna need clearance from or find a way to combine it to one.
Well, that's what we wanna do is be able to go into one and just, or come in through either one. No, it's all stone. No.
Yeah, and like I said, you're gonna need a variance to have two.
But there's three driveways.
Yeah, I think it's the third one.
There's each
Well, two,
So,
we're removing one.
Okay,
They were already there, yeah.
okay. So we know where the storage is. I kind of figured it'd be in the pole barn. Anything else from anybody? All right, press on with your application. Are you coming to PRC?
Yeah.
Okay, come to PRC, talk to staff, make sure there's nothing else weird that we didn't think about, and we'll see you once you get your stuff in, get your variants, and get rolling. Okay, thank you very much. Look forward to you in the community. And by the way, when you get to the point of wanting to deal or need to deal with some veterans, reach out to me. I'll give you my card later and we can have a conversation.
I would love
Okay? Thank you.
to. Sure.
All right, thanks. Okay, next item up is the sketch plan conference for John. John Hotto, Lantec. Ed, how you doing, buddy? Good seeing you again.
Everyone see this?
Tell us what you got.
Good evening, planning board members, town officials, and citizens of Farmington. I'm John Hotto of Land Tech Surveying and Engineering at 1105 Ridgeway Ave, Rochester. Here tonight representing Mr. Edward Samol and Mr. Anthony Pilato to present this new throughway flex space and multi-use space building project located at the corner of Gateway Drive and New York State Route 332. Opposite Hunts Park Road. The site has access to sufficient capacity of water and sanitary sewer, which we plan on tapping into. There's a water main on the east side of Gateway Drive and sanitary sewer on the west side of Gateway Drive, both of which can handle this project easily. The existing site does drain to the west to a swale along the east side of Gateway Drive. And then it goes under Gateway Drive, going west, then along Placer, ultimately to Gennardwood Creek. There is some drainage that comes off of 332 that comes onto our site and ultimately goes to the swale. And the project will divert that runoff from the road around the site so that we don't have to mitigate any stormwater for that, but it will be diverted. The project does propose 2 new buildings at the south side of the site. We had a 15-unit flex space storage type system, similar to the Western New York flex space and storage site on the other side of 332 that Mr. Small operates. Very similar architecturally and aesthetically, except this will have 15 units in a row in this building, approximately 330 feet long by 60 foot wide. The other building is, we're calling it a multi-use space. It's got 3 stories. The first floor, which will be for use for general business purposes. And the second, third floor will be apartments, residential rental apartments. The approach here is this will be general business, and we'd like to have a driveway on the north side of the site, focus access to the general business here, and behind to the apartments. The apartments will be entered from the rear of the building, will be totally separate, of course, from the general business property. There's 30 parking spaces for the flex space use, and we have about 138 spaces for the multi-use building. We'll of course provide lighting for the site, parking. We also have another driveway here, more for the flex space center here. I'd like to keep them separate. I don't want them really mixing traffic wise, so we're taking a closer look at that. Both sites will have dumpsters for waste refuse. Low intensity lighting. We're also proposing a sidewalk on Gateway Drive as an extension of what's happening on the east side of Gateway Drive. The multi-use building will have a storefront feel like Ed's showing here. Very low key, sort of a farmhouse look. It'll kind of replicate the lake house down in Canandaigua, if you're familiar with that at all. Now, each floor of the multi-use building will have apartments. There'll be 7 2-bedroom units and 4 1-bedroom units. So there's going to be a total of 22 apartments. The 2 bedrooms will be around 950 to 1,000 square foot. The 1 bedrooms will be like roughly 600 to 675 square foot. We're still trying to work that out a little bit, but that's the general feel for it. Again, the exterior of the building will be similar to this, like a board and batten, farmhouse look, white with black trim on the windows. Very low key, kind of fitting in with the sort of rural setting in this area. There'll be a cultured stone veneer around the foundation. So you have some.
Maybe want to see it closer?
Good. That's good. I appreciate it. Thanks for bringing.
So this is the front of the multi-use building. Be vertical board and batten, white with black trim on hardware on the windows and stuff. This is the side elevation, 3-story. This will be a truss roof, sloped to the north and south.
There will be cupolas on the roof as well, to give it that lake house look.
And so each floor will have their own set of apartments. They're not gonna be up and down.
Right. 1-story apartments. The two buildings, that are shown on the site plan will be separated by stormwater management basin, and we'll have some landscape offering to kind of continue separating, the site. The apartments will have access to like an outdoor patio, an outdoor kitchen, and there'll also be a small dog park for residents. They have dogs. And again, the site will intercept runoff, quantity treatment, stormwater basins around east side of Gateway Drive, and discharge as it does now to Gateway Drive swell. So that's where we're at right now.
Okay. All right, Ron?
Yeah, we did meet with the applicant and the engineer earlier. Thank you, Ed, for the changes that you've made to this. It has the opportunity to provide not only an attractive gateway entrance to the town, but it also provides much needed service to the residents living in that area to keep them off from 332, having to walk down to the convenience store to get their daily needs that they have. I'm hoping that you can find a market for that, and it will contribute to not only Farmington, but those units over there in Victor that have no place to go either. So looking forward to this moving forward, and
Okay. And you're coming to PRC?
tomorrow, yep.
Okay. Oh,
Yeah, we met with them. This has already been presented to the fire department. They're reviewing. Just a lot of positive.
okay, good. Lance, any early assessment?
I think from our concept review with the applicant and design engineer, really the only thing I think I would like to point out to the board is their stormwater, and maybe it's changed with the redesign, which I have not seen, but there will be some stormwater along the perimeter of the site. And so we made some suggestions that they might want to have some separation between the sidewalk and the stormwater facilities, maybe with fencing of some sort. So that might be something that you see on a plan that comes for you as well.
And
Similar to what you did for
Yeah,
Bird.
Burn area, thank you. That was the other part I was gonna bring.
like
up.
burned area, okay. Fire?
As long as they're passing it along and the line's looking at it, they'll be passing their comments back.
Cool. Okay. Or. Yeah. Regina.
The one on the TV, is that like, obviously this map's different than the.
Yeah, working with the town officials, we came up with a new concept where we,
I assume that, but I just wanted to bring it up real quick. I mean, it's not life or death. You know.
it's basically the same, but we initially had the multi-use space down here. Mr. Brand recommended that we put it up here as a gateway feature.
Getting off the thruway.
And I assume,
Yeah, and
yeah.
you had 3 buildings, now you have 2.
and
Correct.
The other building, your multi-use will be kind of similar to your one on the other corner, like the opposite, like they're gonna look the same,
Well,
so.
the multi-use building is gonna look more like this,
Okay.
face, like when you get off the thruway, headed
I meant
down.
your,
The other building, exactly the same, but I might do something more for white and black colors instead of brown and black.
With same heats and same.
Saying who was to give it that farmhouse look.
And how many businesses do you think roughly you're gonna have on the level? I mean, it's just, I know rough, right?
We've got 8 spaces roughly.
I don't know what people.
Right, somebody rents it as a small grocery store, I think.
I mean, it looks decent right now, I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
do we see it really more?
That's what I was saying, we have a good use of that lot of land.
Yeah.
Kind of unique site there, so.
It is.
It is, definitely something. We should consider.
Yeah, good. Tim? Okay, here's a couple of my comments. You're gonna get the same ones. Ed's probably heard this a dozen times. These people have heard it a million times. Parking is always the biggest issue for housing. So plan on 2 vehicles for all of the 1 bedrooms and 3 vehicles for all the 2 bedrooms. Because that's just the way it is. Just these people, I mean, they're gonna have cars, so just make sure there's enough parking there. Because what'll happen is if you don't have the right number of parking, you'll have a lot of turnover on tenants because they're not happy with the parking situation.
It's not 2-1, 3 and 2 for park. 3 for 2 bedrooms.
That's just my assessment, because for having lived in those type of housing
Right.
for 23 years of my life almost,
Yeah.
I just know parking's an issue, visitor parking's an issue.
Right.
Plowing snow and getting it somewhere is an issue. Just think about that as you plan those, the residentials.
Yeah.
Now, the fact that you're having the residential side come in on the back side and the commercial coming in on the front side is a huge plus.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I think that's a big plus on how you do that. I will also say that you, from experience, need to make sure you work with staff so you know exactly how you can rent those out and to who. So we don't get into some of the same problems we had before.
Absolutely.
It's just a communication.
Oh, absolutely.
So we just want to make sure that doesn't happen. So you don't think we need car repair in there and stuff like that again. You know, type of thing. Just need to be real careful what you're gonna put in there. As long as you know ahead of time, we're in good shape.
In regarding to the flex space act.
Yes.
Yes,
Okay.
yeah,
And I just want to also add, in regarding to the sign for commercial space, there are
uh-huh.
black painted letters instead of neon signs for.
Oh, that's nice.
lighting
Yeah,
With gooseneck lights, so it's not a commercial.
Good.
building.
good. And then, you know, you'll have to have some kind of road sign somewhere so that people know there's something in there.
Right.
So just make sure you work with staff and make sure those signs meet requirements or you'll end up at the friggin' ZBA again with, you know, you don't need that.
The sign on the other side.
Yeah, yeah. So the bottom line is, as I have told you numerous times, work with staff and you won't have any problem. Don't work with staff, I can almost guarantee you'll have problems. Because they know what's going on, they know what we like, they know what we typically do. I like the concept personally, especially now that it's down to 2 buildings. I like that a lot. I like the different entrances. Just parking's always a pain in the butt.
Yeah.
Always. You gotta do the required number of parking spots, which the staff will tell you what the required number is. The required number is never enough.
Yeah.
Having lived in, so, okay, that's all I have. Appreciate you coming in. You'll be over at, PRC tomorrow. Hopefully staff will give you some good feedback.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you very much. Have a good day.
Thank you, Ed.
Thanks, Ed. Okay, next item up is other board actions. We got Blackwood. Come up and talk to us about why you need an extension. I mean, it's good that you need an extension.
So, long and short, this really is, we got the approvals approximately 2 years ago.
Yep.
We're coming up on those approvals expiring. Due to just what's been going on in the commercial real estate market and the banking world. We entertained a number of users for the building, and there's been hesitancy, just in the industrial world in terms of people expanding their businesses. So, they've all kind of checked up based on what's going on. We have not been able to sign contracts with people. We've had folks interested in that. We have seen recently an uptick in interest again, and the fallout of what was going to happen tariff wise in terms of the industrial users is starting.
Right.
They've figured out what impact it's had on their business, supply chain costs, banking and interest rates, all the rest of it. There's been some stabilization in those,
Yep.
in those markets, whatever. We've got renewed interest from some people, whatever. We want to keep approvals valid while we continue to work with those people. One of the things that people have come and looked at from this site all along is that it was part of, an economic development site, and has been kind of promoted even through the county as being part of, the economic development program or whatever. So the ability to be able to say to people that it has valid approvals and that, we can sign contracts and then move forward with construction is important, in the project.
Yeah, the concept of shovel ready and economic development is huge.
We have Speedy's permit coverage. We've made it through all the plan sign-offs. The next step really is the, letter of credit and financial guarantees. And again, we're not going to put those in place because those cost us dollars as well.
Yep.
Until we have, a user for, a signed contract for one of them.
Understand. Okay, Ron?
So just out of curiosity, Mike, what kind of time extension are you looking at?
Well, you had indicated, that the town typically entertains, 90-day extensions, ourselves and, even the developer are used to, other municipalities where you're looking at, a 1-year extension, or whatever. That was more what we were envisioning. If it gets limited to a 90-day, we would have to accept that. We would probably be back. The reality is it's been 2 years and we've been earnestly working at it.
Right.
And this is not a Farmington issue. I've got multiple projects. I have 2 items in the town of Greece this evening being administratively reviewed, because I couldn't be in 2 places at once for the exact same, considerations. In the industrial / office park, it's the exact same scenario. Larger commercial development projects have seen more of this pressure than multifamily residential
Right.
and smaller projects. And it's in large part because the business climate, the users who would be taking the space are acting more conservatively as to whether or not they want to expand their operations or, move to other places. So, to answer your question, Ron, we would like to get, a 1-year extension. So that's kind of consistent with what, most site plan extensions are, are.
Right.
And just from the fact that it's been close to 2 years, and we haven't, a 90-day extension, you're likely to see us back here. We are talking to somebody, but unless we get a signed contract, we'd be back here, asking for a similar extension. I haven't had zoning or town code ordinance updates, whatever, that, would impact the site plan approval process. Any building that comes in, would have to go through the new building code review or whatever for building permits, but that would happen regardless. So
Okay.
That's my thoughts, at least in terms of the rationale and why, we feel it would be
Okay.
justified.
Ron?
Yeah, just a little history for some of the members of the planning board that weren't on the planning board. Mike was talking about back in the early 2000s, the Build New York Now program. That the county IDA was looking for the town to identify a site where we could put a 1,000,000 square foot warehouse, which we did. It's down in Canandaigua now it's called Pactive, in case you missed it. But anyhow, we have a site that has, as you know, been developing in pieces. We have the steel company come in, we had the
Minitech.
Minitech, a German company come in. Both are doing well. Both are fine. We don't have any complaints from the neighbors. We have a limited amount of land that is zoned and can be accommodated for industrial development in this town, and we would like to think that this project will be successful. You do recall that we had another project that went on for continuations for a couple of years. Thankfully, we now have Country Max. So it is a different environment out there. It's a very competitive environment. I know Mike is being very kind when he says that it's not an easy process to negotiate with today. So you're making an investment, putting bricks and mortars in, and it's a issue that takes a lot of economic calculations. I'm strongly suggesting that we consider some form of extension and kind of give an idea as to what you might be willing to do tonight.
Okay. Paula,
I have nothing additional at this time.
Lance,
I'm good as
no fire has nothing. Tim? Doug?
Plans were signed, sealed, delivered.
Yep.
I guess.
Yeah, we're literally at letter of credit and file the pre-construction and do the pre-construction.
Good.
I definitely don't see it.
Not, we don't want to see your face, but we don't want to see your face.
I don't have a problem. The year on that. Okay, now this completion.
Yeah, market we're in right now.
Yeah, it's a crazy market,
So.
I have one question for Mike.
which is,
Did you notice the throughway toll booths were gone? It's been a while since we've seen you, and I'm just saying.
Yep.
yeah, I mean, I actually was at the county when we first started the shovel-ready concept, and that whole property was part of that. So I totally agree with that. So, board, I would propose that we send staff away to draft us a resolution for a one-year extension to be reviewed and approved at our next meeting on the 18th. You guys all okay with that? Okay, staff, you got your marching orders, and we'll go for 1 year. We know that it's tough times, but having it approved and ready to go gives you a heads up on, or a step ahead of many people.
Well, that's a lot of the dialogue,
Yeah.
I mean, they come and they want to know if I sign the contract, when can I be in this facility?
Right.
And we've had a leg up, but we've even had people turn around and go, oh, hey, wait a minute. There's this many 100,000 square feet empty, so-and-so, here, I can be in there, in however many months
Right.
instead of waiting for the build of this building. So not having to go back through an approval process.
Right.
Or even, with no change to the plan, the time, any time that can be off that timeline makes it.
It takes time, yep. Okay,
We appreciate it.
you got it. You got it, Mike. Okay. With that, other open discussions, Ron?
Okay, we have a public hearing coming up at our next meeting for the volunteer fire association.
Right.
For station number 2. The 30-day review period ends this Friday, March 6th. We expect that there won't be anybody that wants to be burdened with lead agency, but you never know. But just as we did tonight for Farmington Meadows, the same procedure will be for the fire department.
Right.
One step at a time, we have to designate lead agency, we have to do parts 2 and 3. And you can't direct me tonight to do that because you're not the designated agency.
Exactly.
Okay.
So we'll do that at the next meeting on the 18th.
Right.
So that means we need the county engineer here on the next meeting after that first meeting in April.
Yes, at your request, I did reach out to the county engineer.
Mhm.
Who has been designated as the engineer for this project for the town. I've not heard back from him. So I've asked higher ranking people to inquire why we haven't heard. Maybe
And
we,
please make sure you send him the copy, well, it's
Well,
obviously
he's got-
premature, but a copy of the draft.
he's got everything.
Okay,
And I want him on board to do the parts 2 and 3.
okay,
Okay. Next up is Eastman Savings and Loan has notified us today that they are going to be doing some changes over there to their building on East Corporate and West Colette, 332.
mm-hmm,
And they will be coming in, meeting with staff. I don't know exactly what it is. I know it's not gonna be a branch meeting, but in any event, we'll keep you posted on that. We did meet with Fish Farm.
yes, we did,
Ed was there.
good meeting.
Yeah. I sent him a copy of the resolution that you approved for the special use permit for Sky Solar so that he would know what we were looking for in the way of his presentation to you on the special use permit. We also talked about the preliminary site plan, and he's working on those modifications. We have received on Monday a application from Rob Laviano for Farmington Point. For those that haven't been here, it is a 85-acre site on 332. It involves Prosecco's restaurant, it involves the plaza there, the post office. It involves residential. It involves a dementia facility. They still have my room reserved.
You and mine both.
And that will be coming to PRC tomorrow, so you'll be able to get a little gist of it. I have a copy of the plans here that they have. It envisions a second point of access to 332, basically midpoint between the Michigan U-turns, where it was agreed to by the state DOT years ago for a future signalized intersection. They're looking at 177 townhomes, 120 apartments. They're looking at commercial, they're looking at medical, and they're looking at possibility of marketing a new facility for a much larger US post office. So it's an ambitious plan, but it's one that they have dealt with the town in the past. The next thing I want to report to you is we are working with Congresswoman Tenney and Senators Schumer and Gillibrand, excuse me, for a congressional funding of a pedestrian intersection improvements at Route 96 in Mertensia, and the construction of sidewalks along 96, the entrance to Tops, something that is much needed and long overdue. Received an application, or excuse me, an email, not an application. Today, somebody wants a 10-lot subdivision up on Klein Road. And we will be setting up a meeting with them upon Aiden's return and Paula's calendar to sit down and figure out what they're talking about. Marano Homes reported today that they've now sold all the lots on County Road 41, and they'll be putting homes up there this summer. The Farmbrook project is going along, and I estimate that by the 1st of August, we'll have it completely sold. All 71 lots. So there's a hot market out there. The Wood Drive Bridge bid opening. It's a mouthful, say it fast. That was originally scheduled for March 12th. We are postponing it a week to give the contractors additional time, because we've heard that they anticipate there will be delivery delays associated with the steel material as a result of all the tariffs that have been enacted. So we'll see where that goes. I have prepared a draft local law for a new chapter of the town code, chapter 77 on e-bikes and mopeds, to regulate those. It's interesting, there's not a lot of that out there. But we do have photographs of some of our youngsters riding these e-bikes across lawns and causing all kinds of problems for some of the people over there in Hathaway's Corners.
Yeah, and over in Creekwood, they're coming from those states there, remember that?
Right,
They came to the town board about it, so we know there's issues out there.
right. We have been informed that there are 4 applications competing for the county infrastructure grant. We'll wait, keep our fingers crossed, see where that goes. Staff continues reviewing accessory structures in private garages. The Farmington Market Center project, Angelo keeps telling me he's gonna be changing his mind. Wipe that smile off your face, young man. And we'll wait to see. And then that's it for now. I mean, Hayden is out, his procedure went well, and he's doing fine, and Paul is just anxious to getting back to work.
Paula,
I really don't have a lot to share. I'm not prepared. I'm just trying to stay afloat.
stay above the line.
Yeah.
Lance,
I think Ron has spoke for all of us.
Thank you.
Town of Farmington is quite busy, which is good to see. Glad to see the Laviano's project coming in, so that'll be interesting. So I don't have anything to add.
Fire. Residents, any comments, questions, concerns, thoughts?
It was just very interesting meeting.
We're always entertaining, if anything else. We're entertaining, for sure.
Well,
Tim,
it beats the live wrestling on Wednesday night.
yeah. Anything, Tim?
Couple of questions, Ron. Some of these bigger projects, any energy capacity issue surfacing?
You're getting into the weeds before we're there.
Okay.
We'll get there. There's another project I forgot to mention, Paul forgot to mention, that the industrial site over there in County Road 41 next to Quentinshire, the
American Equipment, Tactical Construction,
yeah,
right in there.
Oh, yeah.
they got a big bush hog in there like we used to clear the Auburn Trail, so Things are starting to heat up.
Ready to go.
Crazy.
Okay, and then the other question, you mentioned the ESL facility on Gillette. Are they planning on taking it out because of the new ESL
I-
one on 96?
I have no information other than they want to come in and meet with us.
Interesting.
But I think they want to talk about the building more than just the kiosks, because they own that whole big building. Yes,
You know,
they've had it for years as a backup data or backup operations center.
Yeah.
Data center too.
Our
Their computers are in there too.
computer, yeah, they've had, I don't know how many times they've upgraded them, but yeah,
Yeah.
for years they've had them there.
It's
Had
big.
them there before I retired from the county. So, that was a long time ago. Yeah. Yep, Doug? I'm sorry?
The other thing I was gonna ask is, what's going on with that warehouse on Colette? They're by, Hickory Rise. You see
Oh,
Unisource.
Unisource, yeah, they got a whole bunch of stuff outside that's been out there for a while now, and it looked like they were doing a building expansion maybe at one point, but now there's a whole bunch of.
AJ Glass has moved their facility headquarters there. And they are,
From down in Canandaigua?
well, they still have a facility in Kennedy, but they come up here and purchase this facility as their headquarters.
Cool. Make sure you don't do any outside storage.
Yeah,
In the end.
Yeah, that stuff is there temporarily as they get moved in, or, I mean, if it's outside.
I don't know about, I noticed it today as I drove by. Hayden gets back, we'll talk.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll keep it on.
By the way, speaking of projects moving along, the villager over there is moving along.
Yeah, I gotta drive by.
I had someone ask me about it at work the other day. actually.
If you haven't seen it,
I haven't seen it recently.
friend of mine from Manchester hopped on the thruway in Shortsville, Manchester, came up and he, wow, what is going on there? Coffee shop rumor where all the facts get resolved. Is they'll be back before the end of the year with another building.
For themselves? Wow, that's expansion. Good. Anything else, Doug?
No, almost.
Adrian?
Probably for Paulo, so she can talk to you, because he's not in, but, with the Country Friday, or the KFC being closed and all the lighting shut off over there, the driveway entrance is pretty dark, not lit up anymore like it used to be, because obviously the late hours that came out that day. Is that gonna be a problem down the road? So I don't.
Looking to rebuild it eventually, but there'll be a time between now and then. Yeah.
I'm not sure how they do.
We got a lot of those battery chargers over there.
Well, they are, but that part, things out.
Yeah. Regina? Nothing? I don't think I have anything tonight. So with that, I have a motion to adjourn by Doug, seconded by Adrian. All in favor?
Aye.
All right. Good to go.